Have you ever imagined that a single decision by France, one of the United States' oldest allies, could tip the scales of global financial power? France's bold embrace of China's yuan for trade has left Washington grappling with a reality that few anticipated. Could this signal the decline of U.S. global dominance, or is it simply a pragmatic adaptation to a world in flux? By the end of this discussion, you'll understand how this pivotal move might reshape global power dynamics, and yes, even impact your wallet. The term dollarization has been gaining traction in policy circles worldwide. But what does it actually entail? For decades, the US dollar has been the backbone of global trade and finance, dominating 58.36% of global reserves, according to the latest IMF data. Yet, a growing number of countries are now exploring alternatives, driven by concerns over excessive reliance on a single currency. France's shift toward the Chinese yuan is part of this broader trend. Unlike the dollar, the yuan offers trade partners an avenue to circumvent U.S. financial influence. A Reuters report reveals that nearly 20% of central banks worldwide either hold yuan reserves or are considering doing so, a stark rise from just 5 years ago. But why would a key U.S. ally like France spearhead this movement in Europe? Let's unravel the reasoning. France's strategic move. France's economy is deeply interconnected with global markets, boasting an expansive trade network. In 2023, France's total trade with China surpassed $96 billion, solidifying China as one of its top partners. French President Emmanuel Macron has consistently championed the idea of Europe achieving strategic autonomy, urging the EU to reduce dependency on both the US and China. During Macron's April 2023 visit to Beijing, several trade agreements were finalized, but one stood out. A landmark LNG trade conducted in yuan by Total Energies, a French energy giant. As reported by Bloomberg, this deal wasn't just symbolic. It was a calculated strategy to reduce currency volatility and mitigate geopolitical risks tied to the dollar. Why are nations moving away from the dollar? The push for alternatives stems from what many perceive as the weaponization of the dollar. For decades, the U.S. has wielded its currency as a tool of geopolitical leverage, imposing sanctions that effectively cut targeted nations off from global trade. While these measures have been effective against adversaries like Russia and Iran, they've also sparked unease among allies. A 2024 report by the Atlantic Council revealed that over 37% of the world's population is affected by U.S. sanctions. European businesses have faced billions in losses due to secondary sanctions tied to countries like Iran, driving nations like France to seek mechanisms that reduce their exposure. China's role in global ambitions. France's pivot aligns with China's long-term aspirations. The EU and China share one of the world's largest trade relationships, with bilateral trade reaching $856 billion in 2023. European industries rely on Chinese manufacturing, while China increasingly imports European luxury goods and advanced technologies. France has positioned itself as a key player in this relationship. Eurostat data highlights that France's exports to China include high-value goods such as aerospace components and wine. Meanwhile, Chinese electric vehicles are rapidly gaining ground in Europe, challenging traditional automakers. Energy is another critical domain. Historically, energy transactions have been dominated by the dollar under the petrodollar system, a linchpin of U.S. economic influence since the 1970s. But the March 2024 trade between Total Energies and China marked a turning point. It wasn't just a business deal. It was a signal of the shifting tides in global finance and energy trade. What's next for the global economy? France's move may seem like an isolated decision, but it's part of a broader realignment as nations diversify their financial systems. The implications extend far beyond geopolitics. How will this trend affect trade, investments, and everyday consumers like you? As the global financial landscape evolves, staying informed is more critical than ever. If you found this analysis insightful, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring you in-depth perspectives on the issues shaping our world. Settling energy trade in Yuan. By settling energy trade in Yuan, France and China have signaled the dawn of a new financial era. Energy analyst Ellen Wald, in a conversation with the Financial Times, described this as a crack in the armor of dollar-based energy trade. If other nations follow suit, the US dollar's dominance in global markets could significantly wane. But what does this move really mean for the global financial system? And what are the stakes for France, the US, and the rest of the world? France's decision is undeniably bold, but it's not without its complexities. Let's weigh the pros and cons, the rewards and risks, of France's yuan pivot. The benefits for France. The benefits for France are clear. Deeper access to China's market, with its massive consumer base, offers immense growth opportunities for French exports. Trading in yuan reduces exposure to currency fluctuations, enhancing economic stability. By sidestepping the US financial system, France shields itself from potential geopolitical disruptions. Yet these gains come with significant risks. Critics warn that aligning too closely with China could make France vulnerable. Beijing has previously employed economic pressure on nations like Australia and Lithuania to further its geopolitical goals. Strained US relations are another concern. France risks jeopardizing critical defense and technology partnerships with Washington, a cornerstone of its security and innovation strategies. A recent editorial in The Economist cautioned that France must carefully balance strategic autonomy with the risk of strategic isolation. This delicate balancing act underscores the stakes for Europe's role in an evolving global order. China's vision. A yuan-centric world. France's decision cannot be fully understood without examining China's long-term ambitions. For over a decade, Beijing has systematically laid the groundwork for yuan internationalization. Initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and the establishment of yuan clearing banks across continents have steadily eroded dollar dominance. Economist Joseph Stiglitz, writing for Foreign Affairs, called China's yuan strategy a geopolitical masterstroke aimed at reducing dependency on Western financial systems. France's embrace of the yuan fits seamlessly into this vision, amplifying Beijing's influence in global markets. Why this threatens US economic dominance. The US dollar is not just a currency. It's a tool of geopolitical power. From enforcing sanctions to distributing foreign aid, the dollar gives Washington unparalleled influence over global affairs. By trading in yuan, France challenges this status quo. A recent analysis by The Economist warned that if the adoption of the yuan accelerates, US leverage over international markets could diminish dramatically. This raises critical questions. How will Washington respond? Can it mitigate the fallout of a declining dollar? And could new policies escalate tensions with allies and rivals alike? The ripple effects. From trade to agriculture. While trade dominates headlines, France's pivot extends to other vital sectors, including agriculture. In 2023, French agricultural exports to China, such as premium pork, dairy, and wine, totaled $5.6 billion. China's growing middle class increasingly demands high-quality European products, making France a key supplier. However, rising protectionism and food security concerns could complicate this relationship for rural France. Maintaining agricultural trade with China isn't just about economics. It's about livelihoods. Any disruption could have significant domestic consequences. The rise of yuan-denominated financial systems. As yuan adoption grows, global banks are evolving to accommodate this shift. Major institutions like HSBC and BNP Paribas now offer yuan-denominated trade financing, signaling the currency's increasing integration into global markets. According to SWIFT, the yuan accounted for 3.8% of global payments in 2023, a modest figure compared to the dollar, but one that has grown significantly from just 1% a decade ago. This rise in yuan usage is a harbinger of a fragmented global financial system. Economist Kenneth Rogoff, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, warned that such fragmentation could heighten the risk of financial crises, especially in times of uncertainty. A shift toward a multipolar financial world. France's decision to settle trade in yuan represents a departure from the dollar-dominated unipolar world. As countries like Brazil, India, and South Africa explore similar strategies, the global financial system is inching toward a multipolar reality. Yet challenges remain. Trust and stability. While the dollar has proven resilient during crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic, the yuan must still earn global trust as a stable and reliable currency. Geopolitical vulnerabilities. Strengthening economic ties with China could leave nations, like France, more exposed to Beijing's geopolitical influence. Whether this move represents a step toward a new financial era or a dangerous gamble remains to be seen. The outcome will shape the trajectory of global finance for years to come. This shift in global financial power isn't just a topic for economists or political analysts. It affects all of us. From the price of goods to international relations, the evolution of global trade and currency systems will have lasting effects on the world we live in.